Hello and welcome to Lawn and Light. Today we are going over something a little bit different, but it's within the realm of learning about putting your Christmas lights up. This can apply to a contractor out there or a residential homeowner that's going to put up their own lights. So what we're doing today is we're going to go through two concepts for an actual customer. This customer had a hard time designing their house, where to start, where to put the males and females, all the stuff that revolves around installing your Christmas lights in a commercial way to make them look awesome. So what we're going to do is look at their two designs for their home. We're actually designing, this is a place called De La Cruz Farms in North Carolina. Where at in North Carolina? Let's look. It's in Deep Gap, North Carolina. It's basically a Christ-centered, faith-based therapeutic farm. They have Airbnb there. They have honey. It's a really cool looking place. So check it out, delacruzfarms.com. All right, so we're going to jump in here and just start going through and we're going to talk about design, actual design, and design concepts so that you get the full realm of maybe how you can design your home. We also provide this service, which will be listed on our website shortly, probably within a couple of days, of us actually helping you design your project. Some of them are a little bit more difficult than others, and so sometimes you just need a little help, and that's what we're here for. So you can go to our website. There'll be a link you can click on and sign up, and it'll have a list of things that you need to give to us in order to best help you with that design. And it usually takes about 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute consultation that we schedule. All right, here we go, jumping in to the computer screen. This is going to be real, like, non-formal. You're going to hear me just kind of talk over myself a little bit, because as I'm doing this, I just talk through some things, just like I'm sure you do. So it's not going to be a super edited video. It's just going to be very, very informational. So we're going to start with there's two properties here. There's a house and then basically the honey farm building. And okay, so let me just open this up right here. I think this is the best picture to start from. And sorry, these pictures are going to be fuzzy because they didn't send them in very high quality. So we're going to work with what we got. All right, so I'm going to open those up. I'll make those bigger in a second. Here's the actual honey farm. And like this area right here, or the honey building, this area right here has an add-on on it. But what I'm looking at here is road access. How's this thing going to look from the road? What is the best viewing angle? And that's what you need to look for. What is the best viewing angle? Well, why? Because these commercial lights are expensive, and we want to maximize our value on what we're putting up. So the first thing that I see is this road coming here. So this road, you're going to be able to see this side of the house, and then you're going to be able to see this side of the house. These two sides are not very important. Now you can see the back from this road right here as you're passing by, but nobody really cares about the back. Typically, in my 10 years of experience, the only people that really care about the back are the people living there. So if you really want to do it, do it. But if you want to maximize your value and you want it to look the best, then just focus on where the main viewing angles are. So let's start out with a measurement here. Okay, so we really can't tell it's hard to tell what the pitch of the roof is. That's why it's so important for you guys to step this thing off or pull a tape measure, or, there's so many methods of measuring a house from the ground that you can do versus Google Maps. This is a very inaccurate way of doing this. So being that I've seen some pictures here, I can look at this right here. Why is that so little? Oh my goodness. Let's do it a different way. It's going to be fuzzy. Here, let's do it this way. All right, here we go. It's going to be fuzzy. But I can tell that that's probably somewhere between 25 and 30 feet. And the way that I do that is just I picture a basketball goal. I'm looking at these doors. I'm looking at this door, and all the the perception of the whole thing is going to be in scale, right? So I'm looking for somewhere probably between 25 and 30 feet there. That's just educated guess type stuff. So we're gonna hit the pitch right there. Okay, that says 25 feet. Another 25, 26 feet, and then there's a little bit of angle right here. So I'm going to just bump it out here a little bit, and bam. That's my design concept for that. We're looking at 112 feet. Now we haven't measured the front part here, and we'll have to do that by looking at the picture. But we have a basic concept. Now, why are we not doing this ridge? That's something that I've thought about before I started this video is, should we do this ridge or not? I don't think so. And let me tell you why. Because from the road, if you add this ridge, now you have to add this ridge. You know, we're going back to value. Now, if the customer wants it, they'll do it. If you, the customer, want it, you'll do it. Again, we're going back to maximizing value. I'm like underselling people like to not buy as many lights, but you can always add on. It's really easy to add on, or you can do it. Totally up to you. So my job as the designer is to give you the most bang for your buck. So you could do this, but then you would have to do this. And so that adds, you know, a decent amount of cost there. So let me write down that's 112. And I'm going to just go up. I'm going to round it up to 120 and round that down. All right, now let's go back and look at the picture here. That gives us a pretty good idea. So then additionally, we're going to be doing this, that, and that. We're going to stop right there at that corner, and then this little front lean-to patio. That's the house we're going to be looking at in a minute. And I'm going to open this one up and just see. Okay, we're going to say that's 10. 10, and then we have the angle coming out, so we're at 20 right there. I'm gonna say it's probably like 12, but I'm gonna say it's 15. So we had 10, 10, that's 20 plus 15 is 35. Then we have another, we're gonna say 8 there, which rounded up to 10. So we're at 35. We are at 10, 20 plus 15, that's 35, plus 10, or 45. Let's go back to the other picture and see how. That's probably 15. And then we're going to take this one back into, and you can't see in this picture, we're going to take it back into where this peak drops down. So it's probably another 10. We're at 60, and then we're at another 10. So we're at 70 total for this front section here. And again, back to let's talk about this ridge right here. You know, we talked about this top ridge that was coming across and why I'm not going to add that to the design. Another question is, well, if I'm not adding that ridge, should I not add this ridge? Well, they're really two separate structures. So this whole thing right here is your focal piece. I would say to add that in. And we're not doing the back sides of those, or we're not doing the back side of this thing. This looks like that movie Pixel, or like what video games look like back in the day. I'm going to say let's add that in. So that's another 15. It's going to really make that front area pop. So we got 85 on that, and we got 120 on the rest of it. So the total footage of this design for this, we're going to call it the honey shop, is 205. Now, the customer needs to look at this and walk it out and confirm before they put their order in. The way this process works is we charge a fee to help you design. It's a 30-minute consultation, or you send me the info and I'll design it on my own time and send you a video back just like we're doing here. And then you get a coupon code for a one-time use for a discount in the store for your ordering with us. So we're at 205 feet. We're going to add 10%, which is, we're just going to add 20 feet. So it's 225 feet total for this project right here. If you watched any of our other training videos, this is a good time to let you know that we used to, when we first started, we used to ship in 100-foot sections and 25-foot sections. We do not do that anymore. We send you the full amount of what you order. So if you order 225 feet, we send you 225 feet. That way you have the option and the opportunity to custom cut as much as you want to, or however you want to, so that you're your singular lines will be singular. If you make a long run on something, if it's of this 225 feet, well, let's just jump into it. Let's actually do the design, and we're going to, I'm thinking here because we don't really have a good picture. That's the thing, is that when you send in pictures for us to design, make sure there's a picture that shows the full, that's why you need to have a decent concept of what the viewing angle is, so that you can send a picture in that shows that whole viewing angle, so that we can create a design for you on one picture, because it's kind of difficult to have a design on 2 or 3 pictures. It can be done, it just takes longer. Let's start with this picture because I think that's going to be our best bet. We're going to open that in Paintbrush. That's the program we use. It's real simple. All right, so let's start with the design. Well, the customer and you, if you send stuff into us, you're going to find your outlets. You're going to make sure those outlets work. This footage on this would be fine just to run all on one outlet. So this, you can see right here, this red's where an outlet is. So we're going to start our power here. So your timer's going to hang here. Oh, another cool thing is that we are, I've recommended just to buy the cheap timers from Lowe's, because you can buy a super expensive Bluetooth timer, a Wi-Fi timer. I've not found one that works great yet. I've tried probably 10 or 15 of them. So a $10 or $15 photocell timer with the, you'll see the 2468 and all night on it, works great. So we're going to put a timer in here, run our jumper down in that crack right there, and then down to the ground. And then I think I see a gutter right back here. So that jumper is going to run back along the ground up that, and we're going to start at the back part where this would go all the way back to here. We're going to start there. Basically where this comes down, or where this meets the roof, okay? So that's going to start there. And you're going to have to like really visualize this with me. So we're talking about all connections. So you'd have a timer here, and then you would have a male at the end of this line, and then a female at the end of this line. Actually, we're going to end up having 2 females. I'll tell you in a second. So your first line that you're going to run is going to be, and we'll make all these different colors, and it's going to be this front patio porch lean-to thing is going to come out like that, and out like that. That's going to be one line. So you would have on this yellow line, you would have a male starting here. You would have a female ending right there. Now our next line that we're going to run, let's make that, I like this light blue color, is going to come from here to here, and then back into the house there. And I can't remember, did we measure? We get sidetracked here. And that one doesn't have it on it. I think we measured to start on the back side. So if that piece is coming out like that, I think we measured to start on the back of that. And in that case, we would have possibly either 2 jumpers going to start that line, or if we started the line right here, we could just run off this existing jumper that's tying in this first yellow line, and you could put an inline. You could put an inline female, and then you could put a female to start these 2 lines. Either way, 2 jumpers or an inline female and a female, doesn't matter. Now we're going to, remember, assume, let's go back and look at this other picture. This is kind of difficult because of the pictures. This would be really easy. Okay. This is getting a line. That's going to be line number 3, basically. And then line number 4 will start on this bottom ridge here. So how are we going to do that? How are you going to tie that in? So this line, we've already got this one done and this one done. Now we're doing this line. And we are going to put an inline female. What color was that other line? The other line was that blue color that we like. It's going like that. We're going to put an inline female on this blue line right here up towards the peak. And then we're going to put a male on the end of this black line, and we're going to put a female on the end of this. Now, concepts. We're talking about concepts. And why are we talking about concepts? So that you are prepared for your own design. Again, we can help you if you need to, but we want to try to help you know what you need to do so that you can do it. It'll be a lot easier when you're installing these two. So from here, how are we going to get power to this? We're going to either drop down power from right here, or remember, if we started, and this picture is not going to be much better, but if we started back here and we ran that second jumper or ran off of this jumper, you can also put this blue line, if it goes back, you can also put, it's going to start with a male, but you can also put another female on that jumper there. So two options there. You can either run a female off the jumper there, or you can drop down lamp wire. A lot of people call it zip cord, lamp wire, jumper wire. So if you hear me using those terms, they're all the same thing. You can run it down from here, drop down, and then start this. So now, let's go off this one now. Let's do a red. So this red one is actually starting, further down here. This red one is going to go up. It's going to be a longer line, which would be nice, and then across, and then it's going back all the way to the end of that right here. And you've got it tied in. You're just female right there and cap off. Now, if you decide to do this ridge here and this right here, then you can either put an inline female on that red line right here towards the peak. You can put an inline female there and run your power from that, or you could just continue this line. Now it's going to be a really long line, but you could continue it, or you could make it two lines and just cut it right there, put a female, and start with a male right here and come up and over. Really simple. All right, on to the next design. This one's a little bit more tricky. We're going to have to talk about just more concepts and why we do things, and it really helps it's really going to help you if you have an idea of what you want. On this one, we're going to keep it simple the first year, as simple as possible. So here we go. Let's pull up a. First, let's talk about, this is the house that we're doing on the next design. And it's really got three sides that are pretty well seen, and then you got front facing. So we're just going to design a trim design based on three sides. But it's an interesting trim design. It's something that we don't see too often in our housing designs around here, but we have seen before. So let's get it going, ladies. Forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. That song's been stuck in my head. Forever never seems that long until you're grown. And notice that the day-by-day ruler can't be too wrong. Miss Jackson, my intentions were good. I wish I could. Abracadabra, the sadder thoughts of me, thoughts of she, thoughts of he, asking what happened to the feeling that her and me had. I pray so much about it, need some knee pads. My kids just look at me like I'm an idiot when I do stuff like that. Okay, that's a good design that we can work off of, but we try to and obviously with three sides of something, you can't possibly work off of one picture, but you could work off of two. So this for sure is going to be one of our design pictures, not this one. And don't let me forget to measure this. It's going to be difficult, but we can give it a shot. Some houses are easy to measure on Google. Some houses are not. This is one of the exceptions, which is probably why this customer needs help. Can you guys tell that I'm terrible at multitasking, talking at the same time as trying to do something? And you're probably thinking, will you shut up and just teach? I think we can still tell, even though that's a little overblown. We can still tell what's going on. Let's go ahead and pull. I'm gonna close. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up right here. All right, I'm just gonna show you this to show you, because I'm only gonna use one of these two pictures. Let's see which one's gonna be the best to use. We're gonna use the other one. Y'all hear them chickens? Hopefully not. They're going crazy right now. Open with paintbrush. Here we go, and we'll go ahead and make. Let's see if we can do these both at the same time. That might be easier for you guys to understand. Bunch of windows open is how my brain feels. You know that that's a great analogy of like if you feel cluttered all the time, it's like having too many windows open on your computer. So a solution is to really like lock in and focus, or true productivity comes from true focus. And that stress and anxiety are basically just perceived chaos. Perceived chaos, not real chaos. Perceive, whatever you perceive to be chaotic. It stems from feeling a lack of control. Isn't that good? This is some stuff I learned yesterday. All right, here we go. Let's design a trim design for this. And what I mean by trim is gutter lines or where the shingles end. This one's going to be actually pretty cool. It's going to look like floating shelves is the best analogy that I can get. I think this is going to be really neat. I really do. So let's start. We're going to do 3 sides, and we're going to start on this. Oh, you know what? We don't. We have a plug there and a plug there. Perfect. So we're going to start right here. Got a plug there. You're going to put a timer there, and we're going to start with pink for the ladies out there. I think on the channel, I can't remember the stats, how many ladies watch this. I think it's mostly dudes, but it's October. And this is for the ladies out there, breast cancer awareness. Here we go. Our first line is going to be a long line. Come out there. Quit moving. I don't know why that thing's moving. Up. Down. Across. And we're going to go ahead and hit that little jet out right there so that we can, okay, right here. You have a dilemma. I don't love these dilemmas because I feel like it's just wasted, but you can just continue your line and try to get a bulb right here at the end of this and try to get a bulb as close to this so that you don't have to cut and put a 2-foot jumper there. I mean, you want it to look perfect. We would always put the 2-foot jumper, but it depends on your goals, you know, or you can just continue your line. So whatever you decide to do there, that's why I'm drawing that little line there. And then this one goes back in. Let's see how that's an actual cut in the roof there. See, these are a little bit difficult, but yep, because they change the design. Since we're just doing trim, this is a good one. This is a good learning experience here, that if you have these cuts in your roof like this, just I'm gonna call them a random cut. I know it was built that way, but it's a drop down roof or whatever. If we go up that, I'm just gonna say what I'm thinking. If we go up that, then we go, I think it goes back down into the roof. Let's see if we can get some clarification based on this Google picture. The picture was good there. Okay. Here's what I'm talking about. This is where we ended. And this is that little 2-foot jump. If we go up here, then it comes back down into the roof. We continue our design here with an inline female. I'm just conceptualizing. We go over, up, and down, and it ends right there. And then we would do the front of this only. Now what you have is something that, in my opinion, doesn't match the design concept of this part, because over here what my idea was just to do trim, just to have these floating peaks, which is, I think, super cool. Just to have these floating peaks only, so we'd be running a jumper from there to there and then running a jumper from here to here and having these 2 floating peaks. You go from floating peaks to kind of a floating peak, but ending into another roof here. What I'm getting at is that we either design this trim only and possibly, so I'm saying come around this gutter here, up and down, that, across, and then start here and go across, and then do this. So maybe we end right there. But then we would be missing this right there. And then what kind of adjustments can we make on the other side? We're going to start our design over. This is a house that is hard to do a basic package on because I don't think it's going to look as good. Now, lights are going to look great, right? If I was selling this to a customer, if I was at your house selling this house to you, I would say, we need to do the whole house, 3 sides. Because it's going to look funky having this. Basically, you have one design concept on one side and a different design concept on the other side because of the way, and that's an add-on, and that's why they did that. I want you to hear me here. I'm not saying that the design of this house sucks. It's actually a very pretty house. I'm just saying that it is just, for Christmas lights, it's difficult. In the grand scheme of things, it's just Christmas lights, right? So that's why we talk about concepts, so you as the customer can figure out how you want to do this. And you see this little lean-to over here? I would say not even worth doing. Just do this main peak on this garage. So let's let me screenshot this, and we're going to start our design over. Yes, sir. So we're working off this. We're basically this pink line starting here. There's going to be, here we go back with the actual design. A male on the end of the pink line there. And now we need to, let me see what this looks like on Google Maps. Hopefully we can keep the, okay, so that's good. That runs right into that. That helps us. Wrong picture. So now we're going to use yellow right here. We're going to, on this pink line at close to the peak, we're going to put an inline female. This yellow line we are going to run, and you're just going to clip on the underneath side of that ridge cap. And then you're going to go straight up, find your peak bulb, set your peak, and then a jumper here to get across this gap, and then finish that line out with a female. So a jumper would be, you're going to cap or female into this yellow line, and then build a little jumper with lamp cord. You can go around it if you want to hide it, or you can go right in front. We would always go around, but you do what you feel like you need to do, and then you connect back and finish that line out. Okay, that gets us to that side. And actually there, we're coming back down because we're doing the whole thing. And then you're going to cap that with a female. The end of that yellow line's a female. All right, now that gets us to this right here. So this is that pink line. We're going to go back. We're going to draw that on. This is going to look, now we got some crisp lines. This is that jumper area. You're going to jump that. When you take them down, just mark them all together because you're going to build off these peaks. If you've watched the other videos, when you mark, you're going to work off the peaks. And we're going to go all the way up and end that line there with a female. Now we have a jumper from this line to this line, an inline female on this pink line. Let's do a light green. So you're gonna have a jumper here, and then you're gonna start with a male here. So inline female right there to the new line, up and down. That finishes that off. And then we have that what color line is that? The yellow line is coming to right here at this peak. This has already been done. That section right there has already been done. So let's just draw it on there. That's the yellow line to avoid confusion. It's going all the way to that peak. Let's talk about this one because that's the next logical step. We're going to put an inline female on that pink line. Let's do white. And we're going, these things tie in good. That's good. You're going straight back from there. So inline female on the pink and then male on the white. Up and down. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, inline females and stuff, you need to watch the other videos before you watch this. This is, on the homeowner side, this is like step 4 or video 3 or 4. On the commercial side, just watch them all if you're doing this for a business. And then to get this peak done, we're going to put an inline female on that white line there. Black's not going to show up. What's the color? Purple might show up okay. Inline female on the white line, and then purple line going back. From here, you're going to put an inline female on the yellow line. No, this purple line, sorry, you're going to end it with a female. Inline female on the yellow line right there close to the peak, and we're just going to draw that one over. What color are we doing? We're doing green. How about that color? So that one's going to come, that's orange, cool, all the way over. And then here, to get this ridge done, you're going to have a female here, and you're going to have a female here. So just use it, build jumper, and then what color are we doing? We're going to do blue. Build jumper and build that line. Now, when you take these down, you could always just use this orange line, build jumper, and then continue to go over there. And when you take them down, you can leave them together. These are the hardest ones to really know where you're starting. You marked it, there's no peak to mark. So the best thing that you can do is make sure that you have a peak bulb here and a peak bulb over here. And so that you know that these are 15-inch spacing. So you know you start your first bulb here. You have your plug in, and then you start it somewhere between 12 to 15 inches away from that first bulb. And you end this one 12 to 15 inches away from this peak bulb. That gives you a clear identifier of what you're doing. As long as you hit peaks, peak, 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 you'll know that the bulbs coming behind this peak next year when you put it up need to be, you're gonna, when you cut your cord, cut it right by the socket so that you can get close to that 15-inch spacing from that peak bulb back. Remember, consistent spacing is key to a professional look. And then here, we missed that one a while ago. We're gonna have to reuse a color. I'm gonna use black. It's gonna be on the inside of this. That and that, and you either just put an inline female here or an inline female here with the jumper. Okay. This one, there is a plug over here, so that's a totally separate deal, separate timer. You can always droop a line from the end of that one if you want them all to run on the same timer. A lot of times, sometimes we would do that if we could hide it, or we would go down and cross in a concrete crack and then come back up. But it's a lot of times a lot easier just to plug into your plug over here. So I'm gonna do yellow again. Doesn't mean it's the same line. And then you just start one end with a male. I would prefer running up over here and hiding wire wrapping around that and getting to a male here. And then a female, but you have to put another timer on that if you don't tie in to that right there. Okay, did we learn something? That was a lot of information. That was a pretty difficult design to do, and you could really pare it down and just do lower level trim only. And let's just walk through real quick what that would look like. Start here with the plug, and here, up, down, across, over, up, across and down, end right there. Jump to this, so you'd be ending here, jump to this, and then across. And call it good. I'm saying stop there because this may look a little funny. Or you could continue that line and go up and across. And then here, just up and across. That's lower level trim only if you want to do the basic and then possibly add on later. There's so many things, like you saw how many lines were in this. Each line is a section that can be added on. And even like if you, like what we talked about, if you just do lower level trim here and you cut right there, right? Or you don't cut, like you don't have that line. Well, next year that can be an additional line. That's an additional line. That's an additional line. It's like a puzzle. And like this way isn't the end all be all way. It doesn't have to be the perfect way. There's so many different ways to design this house. But you want to design in a way that's easy. Having one longer line for the lower trim, even if it's going up here, is good. It's a lot easier to put longer lines on the bottom. And once you get a line going, like once you get your box open from last year, you built them last year, and you get your box open, you got one long line in there. You know that's your main trim line. And once you get them going, one guy can run through that while somebody else is, one guy or gal can run through that while somebody else is placing the other lines in the spots that they need to go and starting to put those up. But a lot of it, you know, getting the box out and then understanding where things need to go is a lot of the battle. And so like for this, if just in case you haven't watched some of the other videos, which if you haven't watched other videos, you might not understand what we're talking about here, but like this pink line, you would mark it with a pink zip tie on this peak or one of the peaks on the other side. This yellow line, you'd mark with a yellow zip tie at the peak up here. And you can mark, you know, you can mark each peak if you wanted to, but whatever peak you mark, like this pink line actually has, it's going to have one, two, it's going to have three peaks on it. So you can mark it in 3 different spots. However, I'm trying to think, that's what I told you earlier, I was thinking through some things. If you mark all 3, you might not know which one starts where. That's why we cut clips. I remember that from the very first training video, the very first how to install lights like a pro. So let me tell you exactly what you need to do on something like this that you have 3 peaks on. Mark one of them. Doesn't matter which one. On your map, indicate if you want to draw a circle or whatever, doesn't matter. That's your peak bulb. That's the way you want to do it. That's fine. That's the one you mark. Then mark it on your map. Cut your clip on this peak so that you know it's a peak. And cut your clip on this peak so that you know it's a peak. But you're going to start your install from the peak that you marked. Which brings me to another thought. If you mark a peak in the middle or towards the middle, if you have help, one person can start going down this side and one person can start going down this side, and you can work together. There's a lot of stuff you can do together on Christmas lights to be efficient and have fun. This is a fun deal. It's super fun. Hey, thanks for watching today. Ramble enough, okay? Check out De La Cruz Farms in North Carolina. We appreciate you guys, De La Cruz, for ordering lights from us and for letting us help you with your design. Remember, love God, love others, and let your work reflect that. We'll catch you on the next one.